Welcome to the Fantasy Football Breakdown. I'm your host, Eric. I hope that everyone had an absolutely amazing offseason, but now, as you all know, it is time to get back down to business. There are a few changes this year. We have said goodbye to last year's Op Soup champion, Team Deathridger, as well as last year's third place Op Soup finisher, Wu-Tang Cash. Both of those managers have moved on to greener pastures, and we here in the commissioner's office wish them the best. This left us two teams short, and so we also, at this time, would like to welcome new managers, KC Chun of Team 1051 and Marcus Clegg of Black Hops MC. Good luck to them in their rookie seasons. In addition to that, I, your commissioner, will be participating in another league this year, a General Manager League that is commissioned by OpSoup Frazier, who is the team owner of Stars and Stripes in both leagues, actually. I will be integrating news and sketches from both leagues into one weekly show rather than try and produce two separate shows. I am not entirely certain what my schedule will look like moving forward, but for now, I hope to produce and edit the shows on Wednesday and have it posted either late Wednesdays or Thursday mornings. If you would like to participate in any way, whether that be financially or producing a skit or providing some audio or written information that you would like me to pass along, please let me know and I will find a way to make that work. And now, on to the breakdown. Our first matchup this week comes to us via the Op Soup League with Rebel Scum versus Garbage Time. This matchup was an absolute bloodbath. The mighty Rebel Scum easily handled challenger Garbage Time. Even with the loss of star running back Elijah Mitchell, Rebel Scum still managed the second highest team score of the week in their 145.18 to 104.9 victory. Justin Herbert led the way for Rebel Scum with 29.26 points, while Lamar Jackson overcame a slow first half to post a 27.72 score. Michael Thomas also looked back in form as he marked 2 touchdowns on 5 receptions for 20.2 points. Garbage Time had to know they were in trouble in the Thursday night opener as Matthew Stafford managed a meager 9.8 points, followed Sunday by another week 1 flop by Ron Rodgers with 3.7 points. It is doubtful that Garbage Time will recover from this absolute pounding and likely is already looking towards next season. Week 2 will see Rebel Scum hosting Team 1051, while Garbage Time faces the third highest scoring Week 1 team, Stars and Stripes. Speaking of Stars and Stripes, they faced Black Ops MC in Week 1. Stars and Stripes executed on all fronts as they handled business against newcomers Black Ops MC. Aided in part by a couple of scheduling miscues that we will speak about later, this match was over almost before it began. A stellar return by Saquon Barkley, posting a 30.9, helped propel Stars and Stripes to victory, aided by great performances by Kyler Murray with 24.62 and Jalen Hurts with 24.72. Rookie manager Marcus with Black Ops MC made a few crucial errors in this match that proved costly. We'll probably hear more on those later. Great games by Jamar Chase with 24.4 and Jonathan Taylor with 26 were just not enough in this one. Stars and Stripes wins convincingly, 144.24 to 104.06. Stars and Stripes will meet Garbage Time next week. Black Ops MC hosts Team Scott. Next up, we have the Sandlot Turf Burns versus Team 1051. Many pundits, myself included, thought Sandlot Turf Burns owner Mike was making a big mistake taking Atlanta running back Cordero Patterson, who posted great numbers a year ago. Those pundits were proved wrong, at least partially in Week 1, as he posted 21.6 points. One of 4 players on the Turf Burns squad to go over 20 as Mike manages to lead the league in scoring in Week 1 with an impressive 151.18 to 122.82 victory over rookie owner KC and Team 1051. Team 1051 did have some high points. After a draft that saw them take only one quarterback and dead last at that, many were writing Team 1051 off early, but Justin Jefferson posted 35.4 points, leading the scoring for non-quarterbacks this week. While not quite enough to carry them to victory, they are definitely proving that anything can happen in fantasy football. Next week, the Turf Burns will travel to Washington Fantasy while Team 1051 visits Rebel Scum. Onward! After a dismal 5-9 season in 2021, Team Marty relocated and rebranded, coming out this year as the 12th Man Mafia. Something must have worked for them as they managed the number 1 overall pick in the draft, taking Josh Allen, and then promptly delivering a 112.54 to 90.58 thumping of Team Scott. Leading the way for the 12th man Mafia was the aforementioned number 1 pick, Josh Allen, with 38.98 points, while a poor performance from an injured Dak Prescott still managed to keep them firmly in command of this match. Team Scott had only one player post a score over 20, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming in at 20.9. Tom Brady was below average at 12.3A, while Mike Williams managed only 2 points. Team Scott looks to turn it around next week as they challenge Black Ops MC, and the 12th man Mafia hopes to go 2-0 against the generic football team. Hey, are we still doing those weekly $5 contests? We sure are. Our week 1 contest was lowest scoring starting player. This player had to play in a game, no healthy scratches or inactive players allowed. The winner this week was Stars and Stripes owner Mike, who posted a 0.0 score with Devontae Smith, who managed 0 receptions on 5 targets Sunday. Team 1051 also had a player go for 0.0, with Cam Akers managing the feat as the Rams chose to play the air game on Thursday. However, Mike had the second lowest score between them, with Allen Robinson posting only 1.7 points. Congratulations, Mike. On that note, if any player managed to win the $5 contest 2 or more weeks in a row, your commissioner, that's me, is offering an additional personal $5 bounty to the team that can defeat them. Good luck out there. And that's defeat them in the $5 contest, not in the general weekly match. The week 2 contest will be Strong Shoulders Week, as we see which team can post the highest scoring starter. Next highest scorer will be the tiebreaker. And now moving on to our Op Soup League game of the week. Mike's game. It's Mike's game. Mike's game of the week. It's Mike's game. Mike's game. Mike's game of the week. Mike's game of the week. Mike's game of the week. Mike's game. It's Mike's game. Mike's game of the week. It's Mike's game of the week. Mike's game of the week. It's Mike's game. It's Mike's game. Mike's game of the week. It's Mike's game. Mike's game of the week. It's Mike's game. Mike's game. Game of Mike's game. It's Mike's game. Mike's game. Mike's game of Mike's game. It's Mike's game of the week. Game of Mike's game. It's Mike's game of the week. Mike's game of the week. Yeah. Our week 1 game of the week was Washington Fantasy versus the generic football team. This was our closest match of the week with just a 6.32 point differential as it came down to the wire on Monday night. Needing only 15.82 points to win it, generic football team had one player left on Monday, Cortland Sutton. Unfortunately for Randy, it just was not to be, as Sutton managed only 9.2, as Randy takes the L despite an amazing 45.4 point performance by quarterback Pat Mahomes. Washington Fantasy was led by Cooper Kupp with 25.8 points and Ryan Tannehill with 23.34 points. Average performances across the rest of Corey's roster still were enough to hold on to a 139.94 to 133.62 point victory. Week 2 will see the generic football team hosting the 12th man Mafia, while Washington Fantasy meets the Sandlot Turf Burns. That will do it for our coverage of the Op Soup League. Stay tuned for our weekly sketch, as well as scores and highlights from the Outcast League. As a newcomer, Rebel Scum owner Eric was not expected to compete in his rookie season, and insofar as week 1 is concerned, he is more than living up to those expectations. A dismal 2-point showing by Mike Williams, along with only 2 players managing to break the 10-point threshold, had the Scum squad absolutely reeling as teams rolled over them 147.3 to 84.15. Team Sesh was propped up handily by a stellar 48.5-point performance from Pat Mahomes, as well as a decent 22.2-point showing from receiver Stephon Diggs. Managing the second highest overall score in Week 2, Team Sesh had no problem handling the rookie Rebels. Rebel Scum hope to bounce back in Week 2 as they face the fantasy football team, while Team Sesh will take on Stars and Stripes. Our next match is the fantasy football team versus Show Me Your Kittles. After a phenomenal 30.4-point performance from the rejuvenated Saquon Barkley, Spencer needed only 56.45 points from quarterback Russell Wilson heading into Monday night. Show Me Your Kittles had to have a great feeling for his chances as he faced Connor and the fantasy football team. Alas, Russ managed only 23.2 points against his former team, and Spencer was forced to watch as Pittsburgh's defense hung up a 24-point performance, bolstering the fantasy football team as they roll to an easy victory, 157.35 to 124.1. The fantasy football team will face Rebel Scum in Week 2, while Show Me Your Kittles squares up against Saints for Life. Our third match in the Outcast League was Randall Access Memories versus the Ballhawks. The Ballhawks managed the second lowest score here in Week 1, posting just 0.2 of a point more than the bottom-dwelling Rebel Scum. That meager showing allowed the fourth lowest scoring Randall Access Memories to eke out a win in this one, 116.25 to 84.35. The Ballhawks had no starters break the 20-point mark, with their highest scorer, Antonio Gibson, managing only 16.5 points. Randall Access Memories owner Bennett had to be happy with the 40.45-point performance from Josh Allen, as Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the only other player on his starting roster to post a score over 20. Lackluster performances like this will likely be much harder to win with as this season progresses. Up next for the Ballhawks is Timinators, while Randall Access Memories travels to the Mongo Dome to face off with Mongo Mentality. Match number 4, Timinators versus Saints for Life. Obviously, as the defending champs, Saints for Life has a huge target on their backs this year. In Week 1, Timinators absolutely came out swinging for the fences. A 32.05-point performance from Justin Herbert was aided by a 25.1-point show from Devontae Adams, as well as a 25-point outing by DeAndre Swift, as Timinators posts the third highest team score this week on the way to soundly defeating Amy and her Saints for Life squad, 145.85 to 119.85. On the Saints for Life side, Cooper Kupp had a great game with 25.3 points, and Kirk Cousins managed a 25.85-point performance of his own. But these two were not enough to overcome a lackluster showing by her RB core. Saints for Life is going to need to find another gear if they hope to retain that title belt. Up next for Timinators is a matchup with the Ballhawks, while Saints for Life will travel to Show Me Your Kittles. Is that a chicken I hear?
Bok, 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 bockity bok. Bok, 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 bockity bok. Bok, bok, bockity bok. Bok, bok, bok. Who laid an egg?
Welcome back to those that know me, and greetings to those meeting me here for the first time. This is the Laid an Egg segment, where we find out just who laid an egg this week. First up is Marcus and Black Ops MC. Marcus kept George Kittle in his tight end slot, even though Kittle was a known scratch for persistent injury issues. In addition, Marcus started Melvin Gordon in the OP slot rather than Carson Wentz, costing his team 30.52 points. Had he started Debo and Wentz, Marcus would be singing sweet songs of victory, but instead, Marcus laid an egg. Had Randy started almost any other receiver instead of Pickens, he likely picks up the win in this one. Randy laid an egg. Garbage Time dared to even show up in the same match as Rebel Scum, and for that, Casey laid an egg. The Ballhawks started septuagenarian A.A. Ron Rodgers instead of rising superstar Tua Tagovailoa, and it may not have cost him the victory, but Rob still laid an egg. If Mongo Mentality had started the dynamic duo of Cordero Patterson and Zach Ertz over Derrick Henry and David Njoku, he would have walked away with a win. Instead, Andrew laid an egg. Laid an egg. That will do it for this week. On to the game of the week in the Outcast League. Bark, bark, bark. Barkity bark, 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 bark. Bockety bop.
Thank you, Bockety, for that special report. This week's game of the week in the Outcast League was not nearly as close as the game of the week in the Op Soup League, as Stars and Strapes notches a handy victory over Mongo Mentality, 121.35 to 110.75. A good showing from Kyler Murray with 24.45 points was bolstered by 23.9 points from Jamar Chase and 22.6 points from Michael Pittman. These scores were able to overcome the 0-point handicap of starting Cole Kmet in the tight end slot for Stars and Stripes. As Bockety said, a couple of miscues from Mongo Mentality cost them the victory this week, but there is still plenty of football left, and a 34.9 point effort from Justin Jefferson has to be a bright spot for this Mongo Mentality squad. Next week, Stars and Stripes will battle Team Sesh, while Mongo Mentality hosts Randall Access Memories. That will do it for week 1 of the Fantasy Football Breakdown. Join me here each week as we recap the exciting action in these fantasy football leagues. Get those rosters set, and remember, this week I will be hosting the Thursday night football game at my home, and you all are welcome to come by and watch the game. Doors open at 4:30 and kickoff is set for 5:15. I will be serving burgers and have plenty of water on hand. It is bring your own beer or other soft drinks if you would prefer something else. Hope to see you there. And as always, I'm Eric, and I'm better than you.